All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, the wildest of the apostles, elders, and bishops of great millstone of the will, and who has the wildest of sin truth. This is for the whole free elect of Israel, which they so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and your speckled birds that scattered across the four corners of the earth mingle within the nations to be little like the other heathen nations. If this word resonates with you, then you lineage go back from your father's side to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are the true Hebrew Israelites, in which the Bible speaks of. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Yah, see how why he is, he assists. The name of his only begotten Son, his beloved Son, is Yahweh Shai. Yah, see Yahweh Shai, the Savior, the Deliverer. This is a brother derived from the GMS Detroit camp. The name of this lesson is going to be called Maritime Law Broken, Hypocrisy Exposed, and the Order of Jacob's Trouble. Okay, blessed is the man that shall see the fall of his enemy. Sirach 25:7. That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the downfall of the devil that the Bible speaks of. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay, back that up with 2 Esdras 6:9. Esau's the beginning, and Jacob is the Esau's the ending. So like in Jacob, it's the beginning of it that followed it. Okay, 2 Esdras 6:9. I'm gonna get to it in a few minutes. Okay, so maritime law has been broken. Okay, now if you can remember what happened, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, when the Houthis were pirating those tankers off in the Red Sea. Everybody complained about it. Okay. Now look at 2025. Maritime law broken. Hypocrisy exposed. Where's the outcry about this? Well, you see it's proudness, pride at its highest. But at the same time, you're seeing the other nations don't want no parts of it. There was another report. Europe, okay, was saying we are in the shadow of war. We got to prepare ourselves. Why? Because of what's happening in this government. Okay, and what's happening over there in the so-called Middle East. The small rat camps, okay? So these things are prophecy. We are already in the beginning throes of Jacob's trouble, and it's only going to get hotter. And after that's going to literally get hotter, okay? Via the thermonuclear missiles, the ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay? It's going to heat up to the destruction of Esau's kingdom, his ruling age, okay? All right? So, with that being said, let's get these scriptures. But first, let's look at this. Let's look at these laws, okay? I got a couple of news. So you got Britain says Russian spy ship is on edge of UK waters. That's history back then. You know, so everything is heating up. Royal Navy shadows Russian submarine. Okay, December the 11th. AOL. Royal Navy added that it had been prepared to pivot to anti-submarine operations. This week, Defense Department John Healey announced the government's Atlanta Bastion program, which aims to secure the UK's undersea cables and pipelines from Russian threats. Though critics say that the Navy lacks sufficient resources to do the job properly, it was revealed a month after Healey said a Russian spy ship has pointed lasers at RAF pilots tracking its activity near UK waters. So you see what's happening. You're seeing these things happening, okay? And not calling the maritime law that's been broken, okay? Now, there's some other news reports. December 11th, 2025. Democracy Now! I frequently watch this program because it tells you a lot about what's going on, okay? And this is what it is right here. U.S. seizure of rogue oil tanker off Venezuela signals new crackdown on Shadow Fleet, allegedly. The AP, an oil tanker, was navigating near the coast of Guyana recently when its location transponder showed it starting to zigzag. It was a seemingly improbable maneuver, and the latest digital clue that the ship, the skipper, was trying to obscure its whereabouts and the valuable cargo stored inside its hull. Tens of millions of dollars worth of illicit crude oil, allegedly illicit. On Wednesday, U.S. commandos, fast roping from helicopters, seized the 332-meter, 1,090-foot ship, not where it appeared to be navigating on ship tracking. Okay, so this is what's happening. By navigating on ship tracking platforms, but some 360 nautical miles to the northwest near the coast of Venezuela, the seizure marked a dramatic escalation in Nero's campaign to pressure strawman Nicolas Maduro by cutting off access to oil revenues that have long been the lifeblood of Venezuela's economy. It can also signal a broader U.S. campaign to clamp down on ships like the Skipper, which experts and U.S. officials say is part of a shadowy fleet of rusting oil tankers that smuggle oil from countries facing stiff sanctions such as Venezuela, Russia, and Iran. Okay, now you get in the picture. And this is causing an uproar of these other nations. They're getting angry. So what's happening? This place is getting isolated through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh. Now I pulled this up, UN.org, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. And it has, I'm going to blow it up, different pages and where you can access these different articles within this UN.org, okay? Here's a preamble to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Okay, general provisions. The provision of this part apply to all parts of the sea that are not included in the exclusive economic zone, in the territorial sea, or in the internal waters of a state, or in the archipelagic waters of the archipelagic state. This article does not entail any abridgment, okay, of the freedoms enjoyed by all states in the exclusive economic zone in accordance with Article 58. The high seas are open to all states, whether coastal or landlocked. Freedom of the high seas is exercised under the conditions laid down by the Convention and by other rules of international law. It comprises inter alia, okay, both of coastal and landlocked states. Freedom of navigation. Okay, that was the next line, okay? So the high seas are open to all states, whether coastal or landlocked. Freedom of high seas is exercised under the conditions laid down by the Convention and by other rules of international law. It comprises of inter alia, both for coastal and landlocked states. Freedom of navigation, freedom of overflight, freedom to lay submarine cables and pipelines, subject to Part 6. Freedom to construct artificial islands and other installations permitted under international law, subject to Part 6. Freedom of fishing, subject to the conditions laid down in Section 2. Okay? Tell that to the boats that you destroy over there in Venezuela. And after you destroy the boats, what happened? You destroy the people that were clinging on to the boats. It's all open. It's all news. This is all news. So maritime law broken, hypocrisy exposed, and the order of Jacob's trouble. Okay? The order of Jacob's trouble. Now, on the high seas, a warship or similar government vessel may not board or take over another country's vessel just because it wants to. Okay? UNCLOS only authorize boarding if there is reasonable ground to suspect one of the narrow conditions above. Example, piracy, slave trade, unauthorized broadcasting, statelessness, or a false flag. A typical oil tanker carrying legal cargo is not subject to routine boarding by a foreign military under UNCLOS just because one state dislikes its destination or origin, okay? Unless one of the specific conditions in Article 110 applies. I just showed you this. And you got to pull this up, go out to Article 110, okay? You see, right there, enforcement. Article 225. Let's see, Article, but it's in there, okay? It is in there, all right? So with that, you just got to search for it. Let's go to the scriptures, okay? Let's go to Jeremiah 30:7. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. And it reads, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it is, even the time of Jacob's trouble. And that's what we're in now, the beginning throes of Jacob's trouble, okay? This is what we're witnessing, okay? Tank seizures near Venezuela, Red Sea disruptions with the Houthis, that already happened, okay? There wasn't no outcry about that. So, a selective outrage by the nations, Maritime law ignored when it benefits Esau. Okay? All of this is prophecy unfolding in real time. This is spiritual Egypt, modern Babylon, aka America, moving proudly, stoutly, and lawlessly. Exactly as the scripture said, okay? So the law they claim to follow under international maritime law, UNCLOS, customary law, ships on the high seas fall under flag state jurisdiction. Boarding is only lawful under very narrow exceptions. Stateless claims are abused as legal loophole. Yet when the Houthis interfered with shipping in the Red Sea, the entire world cried. Violation of maritime law, what they said. Threat to global commerce, that's what they said. Act of piracy. But when America seizes tankers, blocks oil, and enforces sanctions at sea, suddenly it's called law enforcement, security operations, rules-based order, okay? This is hypocrisy, okay? Isaiah 10, let's get this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse 1. And it reads, Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. Again, Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness, which they have prescribed, okay? Esau write this rule, okay? He write the rules, then he breaks them. Then he punish others for the same actions. He punish others for doing the same thing. See, this is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy state straight up. That's why America is spiritual Egypt, okay? Revelation 11 and 8. This is the book of Revelation. 11 and 8. Because that's what this place is. Spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord Yahweh was crucified. Okay? Bodies lying in the street. You Israelites, when we didn't know who we were. We were dead from the neck up. They knew it. They knew who we are. And now they really know. Okay? So Egypt in the scriptures, they controlled trade routes, enslaved Israelites. Okay? They defied the laws of the Most High Yahweh. They ruled by pride and force. That same spirit is in America today. You see, they changed the Department of Defense to the War Department. This name change is deception. Book of Daniel 8, chapter 25. Let's get that right quick. Daniel 8, verse 25. And this is Antiochus Epiphanes during the Medo-Persian Empire, okay? Verse 25. And Esau is doing the same thing, okay? He's moving in the same way. Daniel 8 and 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. Okay? But he shall be broken without hand. Okay? So, America does not defend. It projects force, controls commerce, and enforces obedience. This is an offensive imperial power, not defense. So the Red Sea and Venezuela are the same story. Different locations, same spirit, same hypocrisy. Houthis interfere. You get outrage. America interferes, you get justification. Why? Habakkuk 2 and 5. Let's get that. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. This is why. Yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, because he is proud, okay? Neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. And where he goes as death, okay? Neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. He can't be satisfied. He got to have everything. He got to take over everything. He got to own everything, okay? But gather unto him all nations, that's people, and heap it into him all people in their land. All people, places, names. This devil got countries named after him, okay? Esau believes the seas belong to him. Trade belongs to him. Law belongs to him. But the Most High says otherwise. The Most High Yahweh says otherwise. But prophecy has to be in order. One prophecy can't jump over another, okay? So what got to happen first? The Koragma, the mark of the beast, okay? Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, he calls it all to receive a mark, okay, that no man might buy or sell. This system requires global trade control, maritime enforcement, shipping compliance, digital authorization. That's why shipping lanes matter prophetically. And it's going to escalate, okay, Jacob's trouble. 2nd Ezra 15. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Okay? In verse 16. And it reads, "For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Okay? A man shall decide to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay? Martial law. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay? This is Jacob's trouble. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay? 2nd Ezra 16. Let's get that. 2nd Ezra 16. "21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." Okay? Great confusion. "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." Okay? Trade disruption. And from that trade disruption, if you got no oil, you can't do anything. It's going to cause famine, unrest, and persecution. Somebody got to pay for it, and they're going to take it out. These people, they're going to take it out on you people. Okay? Obadiah 1:18. This is the book of Obadiah. And it reads, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. They shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Most High Yahweh, Lord in all caps, hath spoken it." And his word don't come back void, okay? His word do not come back void. Daniel 2:44. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44. "And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." Okay? America's lawlessness, pride, and overreach are signs of collapse and not strength, okay? And it's going to collapse. And a righteous kingdom is going to be in place. Righteous kingdom through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh. And it's going to stand forever. Okay? Under our Lord and Savior Yahweh, King David, 144,000 elect men, 12,000 from each tribe. It's going to be a ruling government. And an innumerable number of Israelites that make up the 1/3. Okay? So why is this happening now? Luke 21:25. Why is this happening now? They say, Luke 21:25. Let's get this right quick. And it reads, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring." Why is this happening now? Because these are the signs of this devil's downfall. Shipping lanes roaring, nations perplexed, law breaking down. This is not random. This is divine judgment. Okay? This is divine judgment. So to the hopefully elect of Israel, do not trust this system. Do not marvel at Esau's power. Do not lose your covering. It's just the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these holy scriptures and the prophecies. Isaiah 33:6. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33. And 6, and it reads, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy ties and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High Yahweh, Lord in all caps, is his treasure." Okay? Book of Luke, St. Luke, 21. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. That's 25, verse Luke 21:25. Okay? Men's heart filling them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay? Then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Okay? And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draw nigh. That's why these things is happening, because we got a short time left in this last rulership, this last captivity of Esau. Okay. So his downfall is coming. We don't have a lot of time. Okay. And he doesn't have a lot of time, and he knows this. That's why he's getting ready to come down with great wrath, Revelation 12 and 12. Because look, his maritime law, he's breaking it. He's weaponizing the trade. His hypocrisy is exposed. All of it is proof that Esau's time is almost up. Jacob's deliverance is near. So we got to hold the doctrine and do it Jacob's trouble. Wait on Yahweh by Shem Yahweh. Okay? Because this devil we're close. We're very close. Okay? So with that, the water to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, for allowing me to bring this out. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakudash. Double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great most on rule well, and who has the 100% truth. I pray this was edifying. With that, this is Brother Rock. Shalom.